This is Your Other Brothers Podcast.
Sorta. What's up, homies? Welcome to the ConvoCast, an extension of Your Other Brothers. I'm your host, Tom, and we're a community navigating faith, homosexuality, masculinity, and coronavirus together. And y'all, I'm so excited to bring back, by popular demand from at least two people,
Wow.
someone who is just amazing. Hashtag blessed for life. It is our other brother from across the pond, Daniel. What's up, Daniel?
Gays and homosexuals.
Homosexuals. Oh, that's probably a little risque for me if I would make that my new greeting. I like homies, but homosexuals, that has a nice nice connotation to it. Because again, we are all at home. Pretty much everybody. So how are you doing, Daniel? How has it been these 2 weeks of podcast fame? How have you been the last couple weeks?
It's been fine. You know, I'm still here. I'm still queer. Taking a lot of naps, binging a lot of shows. I feel like I echo what you were saying the other day. I feel like I'm back to my high school years and college years where I didn't have any friends, where I'm just at home the whole day with my computer.
Yeah.
So
it is it's very eerily reminiscent of high school, college. I'm glad I'm not the only one who feels that way. And I'm sure there are people listening who also kind of feel like, have I taken a step backward to where I didn't go out as much or didn't have as friends or weren't as confident? I mean, I feel like we all have some sort of sense that we've stepped backwards, but hopefully forward in other ways.
But actually, thinking about that, I'm actually proud of myself because I can see a comparison of where I was and where I am now, and I'm in the same scenario, but I'm such a different person. Like I can cope better with life, with temptations, with anxiety, and so I'm just like, even though it's the same place, I've grown.
Yeah, hopefully people have more tools in their toolbox, as they like to say in therapy or in counseling, to be able to cope through something like this. Well, Daniel, right off the top, I wanted to commend you for one of the most extensive, well-researched and cited blog posts that we've ever had on the website. I didn't have it. Let me pull it up. So I don't want to butcher the name of it because it's got a lengthy name of it as well. But you wrote this blog post. Right now we're obviously, as of this recording, we're in the middle of this coronavirus pandemic. And that's why we're doing these coronavirus ConvoCasts is what I have called them. But we also have a few coronavirus blog posts hitting the website during this time. And so you wrote one called The Coronavirus Pandemic and the Side B Community's Special Role in the Church.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really, really great. Do you want to summarize it real quick? Because I feel like you could probably put better words to it than I could. What was the impetus for that when you wrote it and put it together and put it out?
Yeah, so I was thinking about it for quite a while now. Coming from our last conversation, how is God using this coronavirus thing for his good, and how is God using our side B and gayness, whatever you call it, for the good, and how can we contribute to the church? And I read this article from The Atlantic, which I cited in the blog, and it was saying how this almost idolization of the nuclear family, how it started. Because in my mind before, I thought that it was just the thing since the beginning of time, but the article just opened my mind that it wasn't the thing. Detached nuclear families of two parents and 2.5 children aren't the thing since the beginning. So it was just saying that since millennia ago, people lived in extended families, and living in extended families split the load between people, the emotional load, the financial load, the physical load. And now during the start of the Industrial Revolution, when factories opened, people moved to the big cities to start their own nuclear family, and that's how the nuclear family model started. But also, it also started the degradation of social support for people. Now, with people who used to have support from their extended families, from 12 like people or like a dozen people, now they only have their spouse, and all of the work that has been split from that extended family is now just split into two people. And from that, it degraded to just single parents. And from that, it degraded to just people living alone. And so it also stated a really interesting thing, that the extended family model is making a comeback, but in a different way, through LGBT chosen family circles, with LGBT people, being cast out of their homes and stuff, and then finding their own home with fellow LGBT people for them to be able to support each other. And so it said that it started in the 80s in San Francisco, blah, blah, blah. But then I was like, wait, this whole chosen family thing is very familiar. It's biblical. I mean, Jesus started it. It started when he was talking to some people, and people were asking, I think people were saying, your mother is here. And then he said, who do you think your mother and your brothers are? And he was just basically saying that your family is the people who believe in Christ. So basically, you have a family of believers. And then he put that into practical implementation when he asked his brobe John to take care of his mother when he was getting, before he got crucified. And so the Bible said that his mother lived with John ever since. And then we see this throughout the book of Acts, with people doing life together literally every day. The Bible said they worshipped together every day in the temple. They sold their possessions so that no one lacked anything. And for me, that's like a family. But our church culture now is very, very different. It's very far from being the relational type of church and being a family to each other. And so that just really piqued my interest. And so I figured, like, wait, I've felt what it's like to be alone and to be out of that possible nuclear family model, being with the possibility of being single forever. And I realized that the chosen family is really an important thing. And so we as IB people can be the one who's pioneering that and bringing that back again to the church today. So that's essentially what the article is about.
I was about to make a joke. I was about to say, thank you for reading your entire blog for us just now on the air. No, that was...
Literally, it's the longest blog I've ever written. I don't even know. I was thinking, should I publish this? Should I split it into two? But like, no, I felt like I needed to put in all of these details, and because it's really important to me. And I've shared it to a couple of friends, a couple of straight people, non-straight people, and I've gotten quite different reactions from it, which is really, really interesting. Some of them disagreed, coming from a straight person. So my friend, he was like, wait, but like, so he's coming from a background that's very much into extended families, because he's kind of like Asian descent. So extended families are still a thing. So he couldn't relate to it. But then a couple of days after, he came back to me and was like, actually, I think you're right. He just didn't see it because he just didn't realize it. But when he started reading the article and then seeing it in everyday life, he was like, maybe there's something there. And then I get these reactions of people who are like, yeah, I think you're right, but they're demotivated. It's like they've given up in that kind of model, which is just so sad. but most reactions were, they were kind of like motivated. Okay, let's do this, which is my goal. Like, let's do this, you guys.
Let's do this. Let's get these chosen families. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to hear or to see that, like the timeline, the trajectory of everything. Because I think I read something at some point in the past. I forget. It was very similar to the article that you referenced in the post. Because I remember a long time ago reading about something about the Industrial Revolution and how that really has altered family, whatever the
Mm,
concept of family is, and households. Um, it's changed it forever, and that most of human history, most of civilization was not this way. We're living in the little part of the timeline that's like the size of your pinky nail, and the rest of human history is
mm,
lived in a completely different way societally. And um and that's so interesting to me, because on the one hand, the Industrial Revolution, I mean, there's been so many positives to come from that, to make our lives easier and to increase technology and to increase wealth and economies. But man, I feel like we have definitely lost something
yeah,
in the way we interact with one another, not only within biological families, but within communities, neighborhoods, clans, tribes, whatever
yeah,
you want to call it. And so it's an interesting perspective, especially on the heels of, we just had Marshall back on the show in our previous episode, and Marshall is living in a community of 15 people
I love
who
his
are not
story. I love it.
who are not blood related and get along. And I don't know that they would use the word chosen family for this community, but the fact is that they're 15 not blood related people living in a place together and supporting one another and inviting the community in and contributing. And so it's cool to see, like,
Yeah.
there are monasteries. There have been talks and whispers of monasteries like coming, making a comeback, whether they're, from a Catholic persuasion or like quote unquote Protestant monasteries. Like, there have been all kinds of
Yeah.
ideas tossed around in recent years within the side B world, and possibly outside of that as well. So I'm definitely interested to see, like, in the next couple of decades, to see if people in our community kind of take this and run with it, and maybe it changes the church and therefore civilization forever. We'll have to wait and see.
Literally, the first time I've read his stories on the blog and seen his stories on the Facebook group, I was like, "You are not a real person." When he was talking about, like, he's the oldest yobber and he's in his 60s, but he's happy, he's not lonely, he's thriving. I was like, how? Like, this person isn't real. So I was very, very curious. So our first annual retreat 2 years ago, I was like, I want to get to know more of Marshall. And so I flew into where he lived, and I stayed at his place for like a night before going to the retreat. And then I met some of his housemates and heard their stories. I was like, okay, I can see why. I can see why he's not lonely. I can see why he's thriving, because he has this chosen family community around him that serve each other, and he has such a servant heart, and I could literally see it in the house. And I was like, wow. It was my first time seeing that, and my eyes were open to that kind of living situation, because in my mind, the ideal situation is, to having a spouse and having 2.5 kids, and that's the pinnacle of happiness. But according to the article that I stated as well in my blog, like, it's just another battle after you get married. So, like, this whole marketing technique that, this is the pinnacle of happiness, actually after you get married, that's another battle that
Yeah.
you have to face as well.
Yeah. Big shout out, lots of love to Marshall. We're just singing his praises here today. Yeah, it's pretty great. Marshall's great, and there are several older people in our community too. They may not be living in 15 people homes, but I see a lot of thriving older people in our community,
Mm,
whether they're married or widowed or single. I see a lot
mm,
of encouragement for me, and that's what one of I have lots of things obviously that I love about Yob, about your other brothers, this community, but that's definitely one. The fact that we are a generationally diverse community, and
mm,
obviously, there's a lot of
yeah,
young people. Blogs, podcasts, social media tend to draw a lot of younger people, but we've been so blessed to have a good contingency of, a good contingent of older people as well. And to see people living well doesn't mean it's easy. Doesn't mean all the struggles have evaporated after 50, 60, 70 years. But like, I know at least one or two who are like incredibly intentional about mentoring younger people in the church, younger people who also may experience same-sex attraction or not. But like, just to see that level of intentionality when people get older is super encouraging to me. And I'd like to think that I could, whether I ever get married or not, that I could still have a fruitful, abundant life in my later years. when the sun is beginning to set on my life, that it can still be exciting, full, and just full of lots of love. So yeah, we'll see.
Running to version 50.
I'm sure by then I'll have like lots more road trips and adventures, extensive ones that take months and years to complete for sure. So I look forward to that.
I mean, you still haven't visited me here.
It's true. I absolutely still have a European backpacking, like summer excursion somewhere inside of me. I don't know when that's going to happen. I don't know when. I mean, I honestly, Daniel, I'm so excited to get on a plane again. It's like something so simple, but I'm going to be so grateful every second of walking through security and taking off my shoes and waiting forever to get on the plane and sitting next to an overweight person who breathes loudly. Or I'm just going to be so grateful for that. I can't wait for that to happen.
You know, that's one interesting thing that I was observed about Americans during this pandemic season. I love that you're just so obsessed with your freedom. like I saw videos of people protesting on the streets during lockdown about opening the state again or whatever. And I was like, whoa, you don't see that anywhere else.
Yeah.
You don't see protests like that anywhere else. People are just, okay, we're just gonna stay home. But Americans just like, give us our freedom.
we get a little agitated when we feel like our freedom across the board is being threatened or squeezed upon. So we I don't know. It's whatever. In our remaining minutes, how are things in the UK? Because I know last time we had you, like your prime minister had gotten the virus and went into the ICU, and I feel like the UK, it's really interesting how all the countries of the world are like a week or two behind each other. And so like we were behind Italy, and Italy was behind China and South Korea, and now the UK was behind the US. And so what's just the general vibe, or what's happening in the UK right now? Any updates?
I mean, honestly, I don't like looking at the news anymore, because it's just the same thing. They've extended our lockdown period until May the 4th.
Okay.
And they said that they're going to start human trials of a vaccine tomorrow. So hopefully that will go somewhere. But other than that, I'm not really looking at the news. I'm just looking at TikTok. I'm looking at memes. I'm looking at
there goes. I think we're
Netflix, Disney.
We're like
Plus.
building a streak of ConvoCast episodes where TikTok is mentioned in some capacity. We've been talking to TikTok for several episodes now, and I'm all here for it.
I mean, it's a good coping mechanism.
It honestly is. Like I make it. It's one of my favorite. This is so sad. It's one of my favorite parts of my day where I could spend hours on TikTok. I'm that entertained by it. It's so creative and fun. But I designate like a 30, 45 minute block in the evenings where I just will scroll and scroll and scroll and watch these things and feel so entertained and feel just like so grateful to be part of humanity. Like.
That's why it's called TikTok.
And when I watch, I'm in my living room where I have this literal ticking clock on my wall, and so the clock is tick-tocking while I TikTok on my phone. It's pretty great.
But it's actually really smart, because so I don't even have an account because I don't want to make an account. But you can like scroll through like videos on the home feed, and it knows what kind of videos you like. So it's gonna show you. It's just an infinite loop of the videos that you consume more, and it's it's creepy in a way because some videos don't even have hashtags or don't even have descriptions, but it shows the video to you. So computer vision is really creepy.
It's super curated. Yeah. The more you use it, the more you like certain things. I've definitely noticed that when, like, after the second or third go around on TikTok, I was like, it's showing me a lot of the things that I've already liked. That's interesting. It just kind of starts to filter toward you, and which is both great and creepy and threatening to my freedom. So I don't know. I might have to protest with my fellow Americans.
But hey, that's how I found Yob actually in my Instagram. Explore feed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Field. I don't know what it was tracking, but it showed up a Yob post, and I was like, "What is this?" And I clicked on the profile, and I clicked on the website, and I was hooked.
Now you're on a podcast for the second time. What a journey it's been for you.
Can you believe?
Can you believe? Yeah, it's great. Isn't the internet great, y'all? Don't answer that. It is. It's also not, but it is. Well, Daniel, thank you for being here today. This is so great. I'm glad we got to talk about your blog post because, yeah, it was one of the highlights of YOB, certainly during this coronavirus, but even in recent memory, it's one of my favorite things we've put out. So thank you for taking the time, not only to write about it, but to come on and talk about it.
Well, I hope y'all read all the 3,000 words that's in it.
Yes, space it out. Make sure you got some snacks, some drinks to sustain you throughout the reading of Daniel's blog. I think you'll enjoy it though. Yeah, super informative and super hopefully encouraging to the future.
And comment down below and share me your thoughts because I've heard a lot of different diverse thoughts, and I love hearing diverse thoughts.
Comment on our site, comment on this podcast, comment anywhere, send Daniel an email. You could do all kinds of things. If you're interested in checking it out or anything we do at Your Other Brothers, you can go to yourotherbrothers.com and you can follow us on all the socials, including TikTok, which we've yet to post on.
I thought you already posted one.
No, not the Your Other Brothers. I have my own TikTok, but the Your Other Brothers TikTok is still very blank, probably for good reason. We'll keep it blank until there's a reason to post there. But you can get ahead of the curve if you want to follow us. You can go ahead and follow us at Your Other Bros. So that's going to do it for this episode of the ConvoCast. Remember, y'all, you are not alone. Even the sparrow stays at home. So stay home, but stay connected. And Daniel, it's good to cross the ocean with you once again. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting me again.
You are so welcome. Y'all have a great rest of your day, and we'll be back very soon for another Corona ConvoCast. See y'all.
Bye-bye.